Hi everyone, welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Multiple Man from the Apocalypse Build-A-Figure wave. If you want to pick this figure up for yourself, you can get it from Big Bad Toy Store. There'll be a link in the description below. And here we can see all the other figures in this wave. Some amazing stuff. Next up, after this video, you're going to be seeing Gladiator. But that Wolverine, I definitely cannot wait to review that. Same as Magneto. And that Build-A-Figure just looks fantastic. I'll be comparing it to the huge Toy Biz one. I have done a review of that before on my channel as well. I don't actually have the smaller Apocalypse one from Toy Biz. If I can get my hands on that before I do this Build-A-Figure, then obviously I can do a comparison with that. But if not, that'll just be coming at some point in the future because I do like that figure and I will be getting it at some point for my Apocalypse collection. But for now, let's go ahead and get Multiple Man out of the packaging and take a closer look. And here we have Multiple Man out of the packaging, and this figure is actually really awesome, much better than what I was anticipating. Now, I'll get onto the reasons why just a little later on. But first, obviously, his powers are that he can duplicate himself, and you're not going to get any accessories or anything that can show that, other than literally just buying more of this figure. So if you see him discounted in shops and stuff, I definitely think that is something that's going to happen anyway. It's not exactly a Wolverine, an Iron Man, a Captain America. You know, not many parents, not as many kids are going to know who this guy is compared to some of those A-listers. I'm not saying that this guy isn't popular, I'm just saying he ain't no Wolverine from the X-Men, is he? So this figure may be a peg warmer, but that's actually a really good thing in this case, not a bad thing, because it means that you can buy more of them for cheaper and actually be able to, you know, show off his powers. That would be really fantastic. So moving on to the accessories that this figure does come with, we have these two interchangeable heads. We have a serious look with that mask on. The X and everything there is actually molded in, which is really nice. And then we have the unmasked head there as well, which looks very generic. Fantastic for customs, obviously, for you know, most figures you could use this with, but also with the fact that, you know, this guy, all the body and everything, there's no actual molding on it, it's all just paintwork. The only, you know, extra molds, new molds for this thing is just the head. So you go ahead and put this thing on there and you can just paint up that body and you've got a really nice custom base here. A fantastic figure for one. Not only if this guy peg warms is it good to get cheap versions of this so you can literally have multiple men, but also it means you could pick up some cheap, really nice base bodies for some customs. And that leads me on to one of the reasons, or actually two reasons, why I really do like this figure a lot more than what I thought I was going to. Number one is I didn't realize that it was the Bucky Cap mold before, so it's Bucky Cap mold, one of my favorite molds. Obviously, you're going to get a crap ton of articulation. That's fantastic. However, it's in one of these coats, which you may recognize all the way back from, you know, Epic Heroes Punisher, through to many figures since then. But generally, we normally get quite a thick coat. So you know, the legs don't always have as great articulation as what you might want, or it can just be a little bit kind of finicky getting stuff to pose the way you want, especially when they crouch down and the coat is stopping you from getting too low. But this is actually pretty thin. It's thinner than any other coat of this style that I've seen from Marvel Legends. So as you can see, it can really, you know, flex about, and especially if you've got the hairdryer on it and bent it back as well, you might even be able to get it to hold in some sort of position like that as well, much easier than you ever could before. So that's actually a really amazing thing. The fact that it's more flexible means that you can get in there and you can, if you're a kid, you can play with the figure easier. And if you're a collector, you can display the figure easier. So I really do like this thing. It's a nice brown jacket as well. It's got a black wash on there as well. So it really does accentuate all of those little nooks and crannies in the design. You can see it a lot more on the front here, on the lapels, on the collar. The actual body itself, I love the blue that they've used, but then the yellow, obviously yellow painted over a navy blue like that especially with Marvel Legends QC, which is sometimes fantastic, sometimes hit and miss. This is kind of in between. You know, it kind of looks a little bit greeny in some places where they could have just used a bit more paint. It's all within the lines and everything. It looks really good, but when you get up close, it just looks like it could have had a bit more paint on there. But overall, this guy does look fantastic. So let's go ahead and check out that articulation then and see just how much is hindered or not hindered. So the head moves up and down just fine, left and right there, so, you know, the coat's not hindering that at all. Obviously, the arms are not part of the Bucky Cap mold. You know, they are the same arms that we've seen before with, you know, the Punisher and Red Skull and so on and so forth. So they're going to come out basically 90 degrees and spin all the way around. Not as much of a fan of these arms. Because this joint right here, it can get kind of, you know, you got to move it right at the shoulder. If you move it out here, you're going to flex the joint right there, so just be careful with that. I mean, you might just pop the arm off and you could pop it back on, but, you know, if you do break it, obviously, that ain't great. Only the single joint elbow as well, so not as good as some other figures. You can rotate it there and move it in a single hinge. So obviously you're only getting that one point of movement, which isn't as great as a lot of other Marvel Legends figures. So it really could do with updating these cloak arms, but the hands move just fine. They rotate and hinge in and out. He's just got the fists, doesn't really need much else. I think that works really well for this character. Then you've got the rest of it is just standard Bucky Cap. So you've got your nice ab crunch, which isn't hindered by the coat. You can get the full movement out of that. Rotation at the waist, hips come out to the side, forward and back, rotation there at the upper part of the thigh. You've got the double jointed knee, rotation at the calf. The feet move up and down and have ankle pivot. So nothing there is hindered by the coat either. Now, being on the Bucky Cap mold, the figure stands just under 6.5 inches tall, and just for comparison's sake, here he is with the alternate head on. I think it looks fantastic, just as good, if not better actually, than the masked head. I think that looks awesome. But as you can see, it's a very kind of generic looking character if you go ahead and repaint that body underneath. If you do go ahead and take this off, obviously it's not permanently attached. You can just slip it off the arms. These coat pieces are still going to be attached, so it's going to look kind of funky, kind of weird. So yeah, definitely it's not meant to be taken off, but it is possible to do so. Overall, this is an amazing figure. It's not a super duper A-list character, but it is a great figure nonetheless. It doesn't come with too many accessories. You get some nice interchangeable heads, but as I say, I mean, the only way to really show this guy's power off is to go ahead and buy multiple of these figures. So hopefully they do lower in price quite a lot and you can get a few of them, no problem. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. And if you want to see more from me, there's some videos on the screen right now. And there's links to my social media in the description below, where you can stay up to date on the videos that are coming very soon. And also just get some behind the scenes pictures of my collection. If you want to see more Marvel Legends videos, go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.